So, like I was saying, on the very next page, called First Night, we get to see the result of Leonidas in Apollonian philosophy. You know, he used reason and logic to goad Xerxes into sending his best warriors, you know, while the Spartans were fresh, while they hadn't had any real losses, while they're at their strongest. And, you know, because Xerxes is represented by Dionysian philosophy, you know, he falls into the trap. His pride is injured, you know, his hubris, his Greek fatal flaw. You know, he sends his immortals, which, as you can see, definitely represent the supernatural. They're supposedly immortal. They file their teeth to points. They are tied up with the colors of Dionysus. You know, black and that silvery thing. You know, silvery bluish moon type hues. And if you'll notice, this occurs at night. You know, under the moon. And Leonidas and the Spartans have lured the immortals into a trap. Everybody's, a lot of the Arcadians are kind of scared about the immortals, you know, that supposedly they can't be defeated. And, you know, and Leonidas and Spartans respond with logic and reason. Well, immortal, yeah, we'll put that to the test. We'll find out. And, you know, they lure the immortals in. The Arcadians attack from behind. Again, they use strategy to defeat Xerxes. You know, again, reason and logic, you know, wins out. Okay, in chapter 5, our final chapter, Victory, we get to see a lot of your Spartan colors. You know, the reds and the tans and the golds are starting to kind of mix in with the blues and the silvers a little bit, because Xerxes is you know, getting closer and closer to defeating them now that they've been betrayed by Epheltes. And we get to see, you know, the final act here, where again they bring back in the metaphor of the dire wolf and young Leonidas. He's lured him into a trap, and rather than giving in to the, you know, that those elements of Dionysus, you know, fear, emotion, you know, worried that they're going to die, they choose to use logic and reason, because, you know, Leonidas is betting here. You know, he's using his reason, his logic to predict that if he and his 300 are killed, then the rest of Greece will unite, and the rest of Sparta will go to war in anger. You know, it's a very calculated move. He's sacrificing himself and the lives of his men, and they all do so willingly, because, you know, the Spartans believe that death in battle is the way you achieve greatness, just like the samurai and the Viking. And he even plays, you know, he plays like he's gonna submit, you know, and lures Xerxes in even more, and then in the end he throws a spear, and he proves that Xerxes is a man after all when he cuts Xerxes' face with his spear. And of course, Leonidas and his men die, but you find out that Apollonian philosophy, reason and logic win out in the end. Our color scheme returns to orange and yellow and red, and we find out this whole thing has been a story. Delios is the one that was sent away before this great sacrifice, is now speaking to an army of about 40,000 soldiers, about 10,000 Spartans and 30,000 Greeks, and he is figured out exactly what Leonidas was up to, that this was actually a victory, that Leonidas had guaranteed by sacrificing himself this victory. And historically they did win in this battle. They beat the crap out of the Persians and just destroyed them, and it ultimately led to victory over the Persians, and this began the fall of the Persian Empire. So in the end, Apollonian philosophy, reason, logic, liberty, freedom, control of emotion, getting away from the supernatural and trusting in humans, wins out.